Hey everybody, welcome back. It's week 4 and sorry I'm posting this a little bit later than usual. I want to do one quick PSA. If you are not already doing so, you absolutely need to be checking your student email every single day. Uh this has become one of my biggest challenges as an instructor. Especially in online classes, it is absolutely imperative that you stay in contact with the course. Signing into Blackboard, of course, big part of it, but you also need to be on top of your student email. Not only do your instructors use email to communicate with you, but so do your advisors, and so does the university as a whole. And over the last couple of weeks, I have got at least 5 or 6 people that I cannot get in touch with. And we worry about you guys. I've reached out to the advisors. The advisors can't get in touch with you either. If you're feeling overwhelmed or something has happened and you cannot complete this term, you still need to let people know. You still need to contact people and let us know what's going on. Because we do worry about you. And, you know, it doesn't make the course go away by not addressing it. Okay. So please, 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 PSA, use your email and other communication forms. We've got the big kickoff this week to the major assignment for English 110, which is the argument essay. The assignments that you're going to do in Unit 4 and 5 are both going to become part of, possibly, your argument essay. And so it is even more important than usual that you do these assignments in the order that they come, and that if you are struggling with them, that you reach out and you ask for help. Please do not suffer in silence. But again, that involves communication. So I think what happens so often for students is if something goes wrong or we get overwhelmed, we just kind of tune out. And that's not really, in the long run, that's not the best way to address those issues. So this week, I really want to encourage you to do the work in the order that it comes, because this is going to affect the next 3 weeks, really, and really the rest of the course. So, with that being said, we've got 2 things that we're going to look at today: the course, naturally, and a sample document as usual. So, first, though, let's look at Unit 4. Unit 4 is focusing on evaluating and incorporating sources. And you've already done a little of this work in Unit 2, but this is the first set of sources that are going to really become part of your argument essay. Research for college courses must be done through the college library rather than just the internet as a whole. So we're gonna work on that this week, and we're gonna be working on finding some sources that we can use in the argument paper. You're also going to be choosing your topic this week for the argument essay. So let's go into the readings and resources and take a look at what we're looking at. We have the finding evidence section. And I cannot stress enough to you how important learning how to use the library databases is. So make sure that you not only complete the 2 reading assignments, but that you also watch this video. I'm going to also show you a little bit, but please, this is there for you. Then for evaluating sources, we've got a couple of more readings, and then we have an activity on how to create a references page. Creating the references page is really the foundation to having good research documentation. As you find resources, you should be creating your references page first. And then as you use those sources in the paragraphs or essays or whatever it is that you're writing, you're going to also cite them using what are called in-text citations. So we're going to take a look at what that looks like this week. We've had that before in unit 2 in terms of, citing the source using the in-text citations, but this will be the first time that you're having to locate your own resources. So please take a look at those and complete that activity before moving on to the graded assignments. Now, the graded assignments, this week we are going to be doing pro and con because we are working towards the argument essay. In the discussion board, though, this is kind of a fun pro and con. You're going to choose a product, and you're going to write pros and cons for that product. Now, this could be something super specific, like a particular brand of, I don't know, soda, a particular type of soda. It could be a lot of people end up choosing like a particular brand of makeup or a brand of, like, say, shampoo or something like that. But it could also just be a product, a more general product. The ones that are suggested here would be water bottles. And when we say water bottles, we're talking about reusable, like actual water bottles. That too, you could talk about different particular brands. This one is a Starbucks original, but we have a lot of Tervis in this house, and we have a lot of what's the other one? Anyway, there are different brands of water bottles. There are different brands of those types of things that are reusable. So you could focus on one of those, or just water bottles in general. What are the pros and cons of using a bottle, an existing bottle for your water rather than bottled water? Or you could use bottled water. That's fine too. Whatever product you want. Self-driving cars, another popular one is electric cars. Jelly beans, which I always find an interesting suggestion. The pros and cons, there are pros and cons of jelly beans, though. I've learned that over the last few years. Video games, and again, that could be a specific video game. It could be a specific type of video game, or it could just be video games in general. And one that I actually debate a lot with one of my best friends is the pros and cons of using ebooks or, say, a Kindle or a Nook over printed books. So there are lots of other products you could do. I mentioned makeup, televisions, smartphones, iPhone, maybe a tablet that you use. So what are the pros and cons? You're going to end up writing 2 paragraphs because one's going to be the con, or one's going to be the pro and one's going to be the con. All right. So 2 fully developed paragraphs. And then, of course, that's due by Wednesday. And then, of course, you're going to come back and you're going to respond to your peers, their product responses, and or review your own product to determine if you would actually use it. Did any of the pros and cons highlighted persuade you to use or to try the product that they wrote about? Okay, so those, of course, are due by Sunday. Then we have the big writing assignment. Now, this is the first step in writing your argument essay, which is your major assignment that's due in week 7. So this is the week that you're going to pick a topic that you're going to use for the next few weeks. And you're again going to write 2 paragraphs. Now, this is a formal writing assignment, though. So you will also have a cover page, you will have a references page, and then you are going to have direct quotes and paraphrases from the research. So you will have in-text citation for any information that you get from the sources as well. You do only have to have one source, but you are welcome to go ahead and find 2 if you want. You're going to need more than that for the research paper, for the bigger paper. So the more you find now that you can use, the less work you have to do down the road. So I suggest using a different topic or a different source for each of the 2 paragraphs, but you don't have to. You can have one source, but you are going to have one paragraph where you use a direct quote, and your other paragraph needs to use a paraphrase or something that you have gotten from the research but put into your own words. As usual, there is a full assignment sheet that you need to look at both before you start and before you submit your work. The assignment requires you to write 2 paragraphs to explore the issue you select from the list. Each paragraph should focus on one topic related to your issue. So these could both be on the pro side, or they could both technically be on the opposite side, because ultimately you are going to take one stance on these topics. So if you select, for example, sports gender pay gap, first begin by determining what you know about the overall issue. Why do some experts argue for a gender pay gap in sports? Why do they say it's okay? Why do some experts argue that there should be no pay gap between genders? What solutions regarding dealing with the sports gender pay gap are important to consider? And what do you think your own position on the issue would be? Then determine 2 reasons or topics that you want to explore in this pre-write assignment. Write 1 paragraph exploring one topic and 1 paragraph with another. What you don't want to do, because you don't want to do this in the argument essay, is come up with 10 reasons and jam them all into 1 paragraph. You want a single reason with support from your research, and then another single reason with support from the research. So really focus each paragraph on 1 reason. So the 3 that you have to choose from: cell phones being banned in classrooms, which actually just occurred here in Florida, the sports gender pay gap, the fact that professional male athletes make a lot more money than professional female athletes, typically. And last but not least, childhood obesity. With childhood obesity, of course, we're not pro or con childhood obesity. That one's a little bit more convoluted. But we are arguing over essentially whether it's really a problem in the United States or it's really not a problem in the United States. Because there are some people who argue that, yes, it's a big issue. And there are some people that argue that, no, it's not really as big of a problem as people make it out to be. So you are, as it says in number 2, you're going to use the post-university library to find an article. You can have more than one. But you absolutely must be getting your sources for this paper from the library and not from Wikipedia or even a specialty website like procon.org. They have really good information, but we are writing for college, so we need to be using college writing sources. Okay. In preparing for the paragraphs, read the article, underline important sentences that will offer information about the issue you selected. This is part of the notion that it is a good idea to print these things out. You certainly don't have to. You could use an electronic version, and you will find that you will be able to access the whole article fully online, but you do want to take some notes about it because you are going to use a quote and a paraphrase. Create 2 paragraphs that explore that issue. Focus on those 2 reasons that you highlighted above related to your issue. Each paragraph should begin with a clear topic sentence. One of the paragraphs should include a direct quote. The other paragraph should include a paraphrase of a quote from the article. Be sure to include an in-text citation for both in the direct quote with a page number, and the paraphrase doesn't have to have a page number. You may not have page numbers even for the direct quote if it's not an article that is clearly marked in terms of what pages you have. So each of those will support your own point. Now, I will say, if you're having trouble coming up with the reasons, sometimes reading the article can help you come up with the reasons. So don't feel like you have to make all these decisions beforehand. You can use your article to kind of help you come up with some reasons why. As usual, this is going to be a formal document. It must be uploaded. You cannot just write the submission in the box. You need a Word document, or you can save it as a PDF. You need to include the formatted page, cover page. You will also have a references page. Each paragraph should be 7 to 9 sentences. Use evidence from academic and reliable library resources. That includes a direct quote and a paraphrase. A lot of this, of course, is reminding you. And this one is something that we haven't focused on too much before, but this one I'm really going to try to help you get to that point. When you are writing for college, you should not be writing in first person. You should not be using the I voice or the we voice. You also should really not be writing in second person, which is you. You should worry about childhood obesity. It's kind of an attack on the reader, right? So, third person, objective voice all the way through. If you're making a point, we know it's you making the point, so you don't need to say, I think, I feel, I see, I believe. That weakens your work. So let's practice that in this particular assignment. Make sure that you review the rubric fully, both before you start and before you turn it in, to make sure that you have met all of the requirements. For example, paragraph length. If you've not written 2 paragraphs that are both 7 or more sentences, you are not going to get your points for that category, right? So some of these are very easy to earn, but also easy to lose. All right, so very quickly, I'm going to show you how to find resources in the library database. So we're going to click on the link, and it will ask you to sign in. You may actually have to put in your password and stuff like that. I've already logged in 400 times today, so it did not make me. But you notice I still had to sign in. So I am not going to use obesity or pay gap or cell phones in classrooms, but I am going to show you really quick that cell phones in classroom, for example, if I just even type in the word cell phones in school is one of the things. Cell phone bans in the classroom, that's another one, right? So you can use multiple words to kind of try to help get at what you're wanting, but I'm going to choose a completely different argumentative topic. And I'm going to use procrastination. I already know that's what I used in my sample. So I'm going to use procrastination in college students. Not that any of you would ever procrastinate. And we're going to search. Now, when you search the library, you're going to find things from all over the place. You're going to find articles, you're going to find books, you're going to find things that are peer-reviewed or that are academic in nature. You're also going to find things that were written and produced in magazines. You're going to find ebooks. Now, this particular assignment wants you to focus on an article. So we're going to come down here. I scrolled down a little bit. We're going to click on some things to kind of help us narrow it down. One, because if you notice, we have 85,000 hits. One thing I'm going to focus on is I want only things that I can find online in the full text version. So if I click on full text, I automatically went down to 37,000. I also don't really need to be reading something from 1859. So I'm going to move my dates up here, and I'm going to only search, and even this is a pretty big window, but I'm going to put 2000 to 2023, which brought me down a little bit more, not a lot, but brought me down a little bit more. And then, like I said, we want to have articles. So I'm going to click on academic journals, and I'm going to click on magazines. I don't want ebooks. I don't want videos. I don't want news stories out of newspapers. I want articles. So academic journals and magazines. All right. Now, as you're looking at the list, you will notice that we have academic journal, academic journal, academic journal. I don't know. I'm sure we have some magazines mixed in here somewhere, but they are going to give you those strongest articles first, which would be your peer-reviewed academic journals. So let's pick this one. Examining procrastination and fear of failure among college students. In order to look at it, we go ahead and click on the link. And before we do anything else, we're going to come over here on the right-hand side and we're going to click this citation button. It just says cite. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to copy this. This is my APA citation. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to put it in my reference page. Now I've already got a reference page started here. So I'm just going to add this one to the bottom. When you paste, if you check on match formatting, I forget what it's called in PC world. It's a little bit different, but it's similar concept. This is going to save those italics because those italics are really important. That is something that you do want to keep. If you forget, you of course can just add the italics. But the other nice thing it does is because I've already got this set up for the hanging indent, if I do merge formatting, it will save it. Now, all reference lists will be alphabetical. So this is not in the current order that it would be if I was using all three of these sources. Right now, I'm doing this just to demonstrate, but let's say I really did use all of these three sources. I need to either manually move this above Zuber because P comes before Z, but after A, or, and I'm going to show you one of my favorite tricks, highlight the whole list, click on the sort button, A to Z, and click OK. Now they're in alphabetical order. Yay. Now, when I cite this in my paper, I'm going to have two authors, so I have to use both of their names. My in-text citation is going to look like this, and I'm just going to put it down below just so you can see what it will look like. Parlayed and Karayajit 2022. And I may or may not have a page number. In order to know whether I would, we go back to the document itself and click on the PDF full text to read it. And yes, you notice it does have page numbers on it. So if I was choosing a quote from, let's say, this page, I would use page 200. So it would have that page number in it. So I'm going to put P period and 200 just as a demonstration. Now, this does not go on this page. This goes only in the text where I use a quote. Now, I have already written some fake paragraphs up here. So you will notice that I have put in a quote from one of those other sources that was already there. The journal title was Psychological Research. So I said Psychological Research Notes, and then there's the direct quotation. And then I have Zuber et al., because that was way more than just two authors, 2021, page 1603. Down below, I have the paraphrase. Now, in this case, I use the author's name already, Zuber et al. So all I need in my little parentheses is the year. Okay, so I am going to save this and I'm going to share it with you in the announcement. So you can feel free to use this as your template. All right. Any point this week you run into problems with this assignment, please let me know and I will get you the help that you need. Otherwise, I will see you back here next Monday and hopefully I'll talk to some of you in between. Everybody take care and have a great week.